Jamison Hensley, you have till tonight, 12 a.m. tonight, to release the proper article about today's presser. Because I read your whack article about today's presser, and you left out one major part about the presser. And by doing so, you're proving to the whole flock that you are truly Lamar Jackson's number one hater. What is going on, Ravens flock? My name is Drastic, and I want to welcome y'all to another video on my YouTube channel, Flock and Ravens. Where you guys already know, on this channel we talk about anything and everything that has to do with your Baltimore Ravens. And on today's video, we're going to be talking about the presser after OTAs that was released today. So let's begin with one of the first questions that was asked to John Harbaugh about us signing John Johnson. So John Harbaugh said that he is excited for the signing of Josh Johnson to the Baltimore Ravens, for the pure reason that he is a veteran in the NFL, has experience, and does want to be with us. But another interesting thing that he said is that John Johnson holds the record of most teams he played for in the NFL. That is something that I did not know John Johnson held the record for. I actually thought it was Ryan Fitzpatrick, but turns out it's Josh Johnson. So another thing that I thought was kind of interesting was that John Harbaugh said that Josh Johnson would be competing for QB number 2 role. And I was actually shocked by that because I thought that was going to be automatically given to Tyler Huntley. In a way, for me, it feels like he is kind of not giving Tyler Huntley the respect he deserves. Now, I'm not saying that Tyler Huntley is all the way up here, right? But you got to respect what he did for us in the playoffs against the Bengals. We were this close. We were one play away from pretty much winning that game. So you would think that there would be more respect given towards Tyler Huntley. I mean, I kind of understand you have to say that to a certain extent, right? Because you don't want to make it look like you guys just signed anybody for no reason, right? I know not everybody is a fan of Tyler Huntley, but you do have to, at the end of the day, give him the respect that he deserves. That's all I'm saying. And on another topic, John Harbaugh was talking about the return of Devin Duvernay and Rashad Bateman. And John Harbaugh said that Bateman is jumping a lot, where trainers find themselves having to hold him back. And at this point, they're just trying to be cautious of the whole situation, right? This to me sounds very scary because it kind of reminds me of our issue we had for the last 2-3 years, where a lot of players are on track to return, but then they get ahead of themselves, and instead of progressing, they kind of regress because they got re-injured or because they're not healing the proper way and they're playing even though they're not 100. So I kind of want to avoid that. This is good, but at the same time, I'm not too happy with this because it shows that Rashad Bateman is ready to go back mentally. He's ready to go back, right? So that's obviously a very good sign. But it's not good because it also shows that Rashad Bateman is not learning from past experience, because I believe it even happened to him at one point. But if I'm wrong on that, I know for sure it happened to a lot of our players where they return way too quick and they're not listening to trainers and they get re-injured or they don't heal properly. So let's try to avoid that and just kind of listen a little bit more to our trainers on their advice, their suggestions, right? Now, the next part is actually very worrisome for me because they asked them about our recently signed Sam. And I talked about this on another video, and I told you guys that I don't like the signing because everyone is saying, yes, he brings experience, right? He has starting experience for like 37 plus games, right? But like I told you guys, I do not believe he brings good experience, because if you look at other fans, their opinion, what they see, they all let us know he is not good. The fans of the Chicago Bears showed how excited and hyped they were about the Bears benching Sam because they were tired of seeing him not help the team. Instead of helping, he was kind of holding the team back. I didn't look too much into it. Maybe it was because of penalties or he wasn't snapping the ball right. I don't know. But those are the only main reasons I could think of why you would not be happy with your center, right? So I was letting you guys know that that's not a great signing because we're bringing in bad experience and we do not need more of that. Because if you guys think back to Matt Skura, remember that whole situation where he's the reason why Lamar Jackson got concussed in the playoff game against the Bills. He's the reason why we lost the Patriots game when it was raining and he kept over snapping the ball over Lamar's head, or it kept hitting his leg when he was snapped the ball. He wasn't snapping the ball on time. We saw countless games of the same thing over and over and over and over. This is the same thing. This is the same thing. So, why am I worried about this comment? Because a lot of the fans were saying drastic, but don't get so worried because we're going to use him at different positions. He has experience at left guard, right guard. John Harbaugh said, we see him primarily as a center. So his plan is to use him as a center. And he is not a good center. I don't know what you guys are waiting for. Like, I don't want to make a video mid-season like, why is he still there if something was to happen to Tyler Linderbaum? I don't want to make that video. So why are we waiting for that? We need to cut this guy ASAP. He is not good, especially if your plan is to have him as a backup. That is not a good backup. It's not. So then he was asked about injuries, if he has any knowledge of any players that got injured. And when he was thinking about it, he brought up Michael Thomas. I actually forgot we had signed wide receiver Michael Thomas from the Bengals. So when he was asked about it, he said, yes, we actually had a player that was injured. And from what he said, I don't think it was on field. It was probably during the off season while he was at home or something, where he said he was reaching for the ball and he like fell and landed on his shoulder and his shoulder separated, something like that. So it's obviously a bad thing because we don't want anyone to get injured, right? But in a sense, it is good as well because at least we know that's not happening on the field. So things are already kind of looking good, right? Better than last year. We're not seeing injuries, which is always a great sign. I know it's very early on, but still, you guys remember last year, I mean, how quick injuries started piling up. It was like a dominoes effect, one after the other after the other. So it's a very good thing to hear that none of our players are getting injured during practice. So yeah, hopefully it remains that way and we have a healthy full season for all the players. And then Roquan Smith was asked about how his time is compared this year to last year. And he said it's very crucial of him to be here early on to have more time with the coaches to understand the terminology rather than mid-season trying to figure out the concept. And he also said that he wants to show a more vocal leadership role. And that's a very good sign now that we don't have Marcus Peters, Chuck Clark, Justin Houston, Calais Campbell. We don't have those guys coming back to the roster. So someone kind of has to take that vocal leadership role, right? And I feel that Roquan Smith could do a very good job in doing that. And then they asked Roquan Smith how he feels about Todd Monken being with the Ravens. And he said that he feels very excited to have him, but also that he thinks that Todd Monken's system is very creative. And that's always a great thing to hear coming from a great player like Roquan Smith. And then the moment we all been waiting for, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson said that the coach is giving him the keys to the offense. Now, you might be wondering what that means. So, what that means, I'm going to sum it up. I'm going to keep it very short. That pretty much means that Lamar Jackson will finally be able to call or change some plays, okay? Because you got to remember last year, like the last 4 years pretty much, right? When Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, because it wasn't just Lamar Jackson saying this, you heard every now and then other players saying the same thing. where the other team is calling out your plays. And then you have the Baltimore Ravens being very stubborn and sticking to these plays, right? But now that's not going to be the issue anymore, because now that Lamar Jackson has the keys to the offense, this means that if Lamar Jackson sees a clear blitz coming his way, he has the power to make these changes now. He has the keys to say, no, we're not going to do this. Zay, don't go left, go right. Andrews, don't go straight, block for me. And that is a great thing to hear, because it just shows you how much trust and confidence the team actually has in you. And I wish this had happened earlier on. I wish it didn't have to be 5 years later, but better late than never, right? It's a great thing to hear. So that really made me very happy to hear. And for him to actually say it, it kind of puts pressure on the OC, John Harbaugh, and everyone upstairs, right? To not go back on their word, because now that information is out. So when he's not able to change these plays, Lamar could say, "Oh, well, I thought they were letting me, but it turns out they're not." So I really like this. You guys don't understand how important this is, that he was able to actually say this in the press conference. Very important. And the next topic is very important as well, because they asked him, how does he find himself learning this new offense? And he replied with, by studying the playbook, and also by being the last person to leave the building. When everybody else goes home, he stays behind to practice with Todd Monken, T. Martin, John Harbaugh, coaching staff, right? He's the last player to stay behind to perfect and practice his craft. So, if you're taking notes that he is not showing up to voluntary camp, whatever, football school, you also need to take notes that he is the last person to leave the building. So now we're gonna go on to the next topic, where he was asked about Zay Flowers and how he feels about him, right? And Lamar Jackson said that he is very smooth and can stop on the dime. That is huge coming from Lamar Jackson, because if you guys know Lamar Jackson, he himself can stop on the dime, right? There is actually a video of him from high school where he did just that on a defender. Made him look crazy, right? And for Lamar Jackson to say that, you actually have to be very, very good for him to give you that compliment. To get a compliment from one of the greats at doing something that you're trying to do is very big, very important. So Lamar Jackson gave Zay Flowers that compliment, that he could stop on the dime, and that's very good. So that's something that Ravens fans should actually be very excited about. And then the next question was asked about, with all these new weapons that we have on the team, right? How is that going to affect the other players, where some players may not feel happy or may get upset that they're not touching the ball enough? There isn't enough footballs to go around, right? Lamar Jackson replied with, that should not matter if we're winning. That's the perfect answer to that question. Because if you're winning, at the end of the day, this is a team sport. So if your team is winning, that's all that should matter. And I think Lamar Jackson is a perfect example of a player who leads by example on that. Because there has been a bunch of records that Lamar Jackson has broken, a lot of accomplishments, right, in his NFL career, and he doesn't pay any mind to it. Lamar Jackson is a perfect example of that, because all he cares about is the team's success, which is the Super Bowl, because winning a Super Bowl is a team's achievement, right? So if the players are serious about, they all want the same thing, winning a Super Bowl, then they should not be worried about a individual achievement. How many yards I caught, how many touchdowns, how many this. No, that should not matter. The only thing that should matter is winning. Doesn't matter who did what. No, winning, and that's it. And Lamar Jackson has shown this over and over and over and over, because every time there's a presser after a game, they're like, oh, Lamar, you broke this record, you broke that record. He never cares. He's like, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the Super Bowl. So that's something that every player on this team needs to learn from Lamar Jackson. And then they asked Lamar Jackson what this new offense means to him. And Lamar Jackson replied with, he used to pray for times like this. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. He said, running can only get you so far. We need to throw the ball downfield, and with what he sees in Coach Munkin is tremendous. It's like what I said earlier in the video, better late than never, right? But we're here, right? It finally happened, so we just gotta look forward and that's it. And then he was told, looks like you might be running less. And he replied with, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially with all the receivers we have. And then he started mentioning all his receivers. He said, we got Zay, we got OBJ, we got Devin Duvernay. He even mentioned James Prochet, Isaiah Likely. Then he said, Lamar, you mentioned every receiver you have except your best receiver. I mean, the disrespect is crazy, man. How you forget about your number one receiver? Like, how time changes. Like, you get a new offense coordinator and all of a sudden you forget. And in case y'all don't know who I'm talking about, I'm talking about Patrick Ricard. Yes, Patrick Ricard. Pancake Pat. That's exact. Yo, he mentioned everyone except Patrick Ricard, and I'm just kidding, guys. I'm playing. Don't. I don't want anyone killing me in the comments right now. But just so you guys could see, right? Because that was a huge thing last year. Well, not just last year. Like while Greg Roman was here, it was always Patrick Ricard like lined up, getting ready to like receive the ball, right? I don't think we're gonna be seeing that. Maybe once or twice. That'd be like a throwback play, right? But I don't believe we're gonna see Patrick Ricard going for 700 yards this season. I feel like we're gonna definitely tone it down, But yeah, guys, don't listen to me. Like, don't pay any attention to me. I play way too much. Like, I will take the most serious conversation you could possibly have with me and I will turn it into a joke. I play way too much. And I think that's one of my biggest flaws, that I don't take a lot of things serious. For some people that's a good thing, right? But what could I do? Anyways, with the next question, he was asked, with this new 5 years under his belt and the new contract that he signed, what is the responsibilities of leadership in his position? And he replied with being more vocal on and off the field. And that the coach Munkin, I think, was the one who told him, but one of the coach told him that he does need to be more vocal. And I could agree with that to a certain extent, because I feel that he already has the respect of the players, right? So whatever he says, it's definitely going to hold some sort of weight. And I guess he just has to talk to Ray Lewis a little bit more to kind of get some tips from him, right? Because Ray Lewis was a very good like vocal leader, right? Like he could talk you up to like run for president. Like Ray Lewis is definitely the GOAT when it comes to motivational speeches. Like I watched a couple of his videos on YouTube where he motivates you. Like I said, like anything you're doing, if you watch one of his videos, it's just gonna motivate you to do whatever you want to do in life. And if you guys haven't seen him, I encourage you guys to look up Ray Lewis motivational speech. They're awesome. It's very, very awesome. So I think Lamar Jackson should definitely hit him up and see, what pointers Ray Lewis has for him. And yeah, and I think I could really see Lamar Jackson being a great vocal leader. And I could see like the team, I mean, respect, no, because Lamar earned and has the respect from the players years ago. So hopefully we do see a more vocal Lamar. And yeah. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much the whole presser. So let me know down in the comments your opinions on the whole presser. Everything I said. If you guys agree or disagree, whatever. make sure to like, subscribe to this channel, and let's share this channel. Yo, we gotta share this channel. Let's keep growing this channel. We are already at 300 subscribers. So I want to give a big shout out to every subscribers, and thank you guys so much for subscribing, taking the time to watch my videos. And yeah, let's keep sharing this channel. Share it with a friend, with a coworker, family member, anyone you know that might be into Ravens content. Make sure to share this channel, and we're gonna grow it. So I'm gonna see you on the next video.